Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Claire, the Communications Director of EU Business School, and today I'm proud to kick off these very exciting sessions on the Eurovision Song Contest, none other than the world's largest annual music event of the year. Today we'll learn deep insights into what goes on behind the scenes, about top event organisation, and what the Eurovision means as big business. So without further ado, let me welcome our distinguished guests. We start today's session with a masterclass with Anna Wittgren, the marketing director of this year's host country, Malmö, which is great. And after a short break, we will begin our panel with some of the key women at the Eurovision contest. So we'll be hearing from Maxine Klein, content producer from 2020 to 2023, Maria Boch, head of media from the Spanish delegation, Melanie Weber, none other than the multi-platinum songwriter, and lastly, Karolina Lukaskowska, TV director and content producer from the Czech delegation. So today, let's learn and let's have fun, and let the show begin. So thank you, Anna and Ahmad.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, so my name is Ahmed Haloun, and I will be interviewed. It's going to be a masterclass, but it's going to be a little interview chat. We're not friends, but can we be friends just for the sake of this?
We can be friends.
Yeah.
I thought we were friends.
Oh, okay. I don't know. So maybe I'll ask for a loan later, Swedish kroner later, just to kick things off. So we're just going to talk a little bit about Malmö, which is not Stockholm, to the surprise of many people. How are you and how is Malmö right now?
Malmö is fine. And do you mean that Malmö is a surprise that the Eurovision Song Contest didn't end up in Stockholm? Because we're not surprised that we're not Stockholm.
Why? Why is that?
Only because we've done it before, and Stockholm has too. But we knew, I don't know if you know, I mean you know obviously, but I don't know the rest of the people watching us. In Sweden we have quite a long way leading up to when you actually decide who's going to win the whole contest to represent Sweden in the Eurovision Song Contest. And it's 4 different Saturday evenings, and then you have a semi-final, and then you have the final. And in the year 2023, when Loreen actually did a first show, the first quarter-final in Malmö in February, we knew she's going to win the lot. We knew she had a big chance. So already when she sort of went on to go to the final, we started looking into, okay, if Loreen wins in Liverpool, can we bid again?
Okay, so it was something that you were not planning it when Loreen won, but when you saw Loreen on TV, you were, okay, we'll start working because there's a big chance. This happened in 2013 and in 2023, sorry, in 2012 or in 2023, both of the times?
No, only this time. Only this time.
Only this time.
So at the moment we have a chain where Loreen wins and we in Malmö get to host it. So ideally Denmark should win, because that's what happened.
And there we have the Danish songwriter over there. We're rooting for you.
Yeah. We got a chain thing going.
Yeah. So Loreen wins, Malmö hosts,
and
Denmark wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so no pressure over there for her. Can you tell us just a little bit how was the whole process for you right now, or the starting the connections? Because you saw that and you directly emailed Malmö Arena and you were like, hey guys, are you available in May next year?
Yeah. I mean, literally, it was pulling out the reports. How well did the Eurovision Song Contest do in 2013? I.e., how much revenue did it bring in? What did it cost us? How did we benefit as a city, as a region, perhaps even nationally, of that huge event coming to the city? And luckily, we had done those reports in 2013. So then it was a case of, behind the scenes, talking to the politicians and saying, if Loreen wins again, are we going to bid for this? Is this going to be good for us? And we're very lucky that 2 of the main people who worked in 2013 were still available, i.e. Karin Karlsson, who was the head of the whole city event in 2013. She's still in the organization. She's Malmö Live, and Johan Hermansson, who at the time in 2013 was the head of Malmö Tourism, is now still in the city in another position. And so there were the networking started, and we talked to the arena and also to Malmömässan, which is of course where the press center is and the whole backstage thing for the delegations. So yeah, preparations were made so that when Loreen won in Liverpool and SVT sent out that, are you interested in giving a bid, we were quite prepared.
Oh, so that didn't happen with Måns Zelmerlöw. That was something that you just didn't like him?
No, we love Måns. Mums Måns. Yeah, we love him. No, he's from Lund, but that was in 2016.
Yeah.
We were not ready in 2016 to do it again because I don't know if any of you were there in 2013. It was amazing in 2013. And it wouldn't have been right to do it 3 years later, and also our organization wouldn't have been able to cope with it because it's such a big thing. I think somebody mentioned before that Rotterdam, you just get hit by it. And you do get hit by it. You can only get hit so often by your own.
Okay. That's the quote of so far. You only can get hit so often by Eurovision. Okay. Yeah. And now then, you did all of the preparations for it, and you started, you submitted it. What do you think now is the key difference between 2013 and 2024 on organizing Eurovision? Because what we see also, we'll discuss it later. I know there is a key difference that I want to bring up. But can you tell us right now, what do you saw the big difference?
Well, again, having Karin there, when Karin said, yes, I'm willing to do the whole Malmö, the City of Malmö program and run all of that, we knew we were on a winner. And the last time she started working in October, while as this time she could start working in as soon as I think it was the 7th of July, SVT said that, yes, Malmö is going to be the host city. We could then say, okay, we start working now. Liverpool have been extremely generous. They've been over in Malmö, we've been over with that. They've been extremely generous with, what's it like in 2023 to host it. So we could just start a lot earlier, even though, we usually say, there's a saying in Sweden that, you lay the track as the train goes on it, while as with Eurovision, you don't even, you're 2 stations ahead with the whole planning before you lay the rails. So that didn't quite work out in English, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
We're always behind. We're always behind, but because we've done it before, it's, that is one of the key advantages. We could start early, we've done it, before, and keep people in place.
But one of the things that we saw on the numbers when you were announcing it, I'll come back to that, but now you mentioned the 7th of July. Did you know before that you were hosting it, or you just found out with everybody else?
I think that was a Monday.
Yes.
And I think we perhaps had known a few hours before. But it was literally negotiations. And they were running up to midnight. We thought, my boss, Mikael, who you asked about before, he was saying, oh, I thought they were just, trying to, negotiate, being a hard negotiator. But it turned out there were other cities in the running all up to the last hours of when they decided. So, yeah, no, it was tough negotiations.
Okay, we're going to get into
we did
there.
know a few hours before.
So, no, for us, my main question is because you mentioned negotiations. The budget this year, we can say that the contest from 2013, guys, to what it is today, mainstream-wise, has been bigger. And I think Eurovision is one of the things that when you go once and you're in the audience, maybe not next year directly, but you always want to come back. So I think it has grown a little bit more. And also, I think we all have seen our bank accounts, and the money doesn't last as much as last year. So how do you... I see many heads nodding over there. No, but the question is, how you're going to manage to do an event as outstanding as Liverpool, or as outstanding as you did in 2013, with the same budget of 11 years ago. What is the difference right now?
The difference is that in 2013, obviously, well, we hadn't done it since 1992, so there was a whole different ballgame then. We said, okay, this is the budget, this is what you're doing. Well, it's this year because money is very, very tight.
And like everybody, it's not only Sweden.
So what we're doing, there's a project budget, but there's also our normal budgets are being affected. So, for example, in my team where I normally work with marketing, I have one person working with tour operators, and the money that she would normally spend on tour operators, she is spending on the delegations as the social programs they're doing, or the press.
We received that email. The social programs are interesting this year.
They're going to be really good.
Yeah.
They're going to be really good. So that's why the money from that doesn't go to tour operators, for example, this year. The same with press and the same with media. You know, we do it within our normal budget, I linjen, as it's called in Swedish. Yeah.
Okay, you're not only learning a little bit of business today, you're learning Swedish
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, but that was the only way we could do it, and honestly, that's also a sustainable way of doing it. It's making us. We have to be very smart. We have to be very, you know, you don't waste any money. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
We have to be even smarter this time. But they have done. They just released the program, most of the program, yesterday, and the program. If you do come, and you don't have tickets to the arena, the program out on the streets in Malmö and in Folkets Park is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Good artists.
Okay. We're gonna book you later, okay? We get you there. But no, for the upcoming thing, you mentioned the team. Can you tell us a little bit who from Malmö City Hall is gonna be, or who are the key people? Because if I tell you who's gonna be working in Eurovision, you're gonna tell me everybody. But who are the key people right now setting the thing up, just for us to know, maybe the titles for us to know how big of the project can be? So we have the director of marketing, and then we have a director of the event.
There's Karin Karlsson, who's actually the head of the whole city event.
Okay.
And she in turn has a whole team of project managers, really. There's of hospitality, there is the delegations, there is the Eurovillage, which is going to be a focus back. There's the head of communication, there's a special person just in charge of all the communication to do with Eurovision. I think she has 12 different managers working with special things.
Within her.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of people. And
it's a lot of people, and most of us.
These people are normally working with Malmö City?
Yeah.
Or they are just freelancers that you just catch right now, or theirs are temporary, how do you say it, temporary job positions that were open right now?
There's a handful which are temporary, but they normally work, a few of them work at Malmö Live, which is our concert hall, which is Karin is one of those.
Yeah.
We have got the Frida, who's in charge of SoMe. She's also working normally with Malmö Live, but Malmö Live, it's all under the city of Malmö anyway. You know, it's part of it, of the family. So, but I think one or two of the people who are booking the artists, I think they have come.
We need that
especially.
Contact, right? For
Lotta
her.
Ström.
Yeah. Okay.
Lotta Ström. Yeah.
And now for the events and activities that you are preparing for Malmö, you have this investment that you want to do.
Yeah.
How hard is going to be for you to get the return of that investment? How are you going to calculate it? Is it going to be on hotels only? Is it going to be on the activities that you're going to have on the street? Are you getting them from the sponsors of the people that you're going to have on the village? Can you tell us about that? Yeah,
and I'm dead excited about being here at the business school, actually, because we are using this year's Eurovision Song Contest as a pilot. Because last time when we had the Eurovision, we were all so excited, and we weren't capable, or we didn't have the time or the energy to think beyond May of 2013. And once May of 2013, we were all, hallelujah, you know, we'd done it, and we did really well. And tourism did amazingly. And if you look at our bed nights, which is how you measure tourism, bed nights have gone up ever since 2013. We hit the all-time high in 2019, and then of course COVID happened, and we're now at our highest again in Malmö. So we know that tourism will benefit hugely. Can't see any reason for that not happening again. However, we want Malmö as a business hub to benefit this time. You know, we want people to write about Malmö, not just as a party city or whatever, we want journalists to come, investors to come during Eurovision and write, okay, so what's Malmö as a business hub? We got 270 head offices in Malmö. There's room for plenty more. And we want that side to grow. And we've said all along, we cannot focus on solely the event and solely tourism this time. We need to be smarter.
Actually,
so that's what we're doing.
I'm not sure if we have announced it. I think I might get fired.
As long as I don't get fired, that's fine.
There is a
There's a what?
street.
Oh yeah,
Is that announced?
That's announced.
Okay, yeah, I know that. Because sometimes you receive so much information that you don't know what you can
No,
say.
I think that's out.
Yeah,
that's
well,
out.
she said that's out. So we know that this year, apart from the Eurovillage, you have the Eurovision Street.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
also you're gonna have like
Friskgatan.
you have like a
Yeah.
key commerces
Yeah.
that you want to somehow promote
Yeah.
on the way to the
Yeah.
village.
Yeah.
Uh, Who had that idea, and what are you expecting from that? Did people had to bid, or the streets had to bid? How did you just
No.
choose?
Yeah, sorry.
How did you just choose? Okay, let's make a street and let's make it here, because here in Barcelona we have Passeig de Gracia, which is the fanciest and most expensive shops, but it's a very beautiful street. Do you think that's how you were, or how did you manage? Okay, let's do a Eurovision street and let's this businesses get the benefit of it. How was that?
No, it's Friskgatan. It actually runs from one of the train stations. We've only got 3 stations in Malmö, so to the Folkets Park. So it's where people would walk anyway. And normally for the last few summers, we've made it into a summer street, i.e. we made it into a pedestrian street. So it was just somebody saying, well, this year obviously it should be a Eurovision street. So when you get off at Triangeln station and head towards the Eurovision village, it would be where you naturally walk, and it would just be filled of Eurovision. And there will also be pop-up stages, as it's called. You know, I don't know if you know, but and I'm sure you can confirm this, but choir singing in Sweden is enormous. Loads of people love choir singing, and so many choirs have volunteered. They want to sing. They want to sing Eurovision music, so they'll be also on those stages. So. It was a natural street for us. It's not the fanciest street in Malmö. If we have one that is fancier than the others, I don't know. But it's a natural walk between the station and the Eurovision village.
And what do you think right now, or what do you expect from the visitors going to these streets? What's the ultimate goal? Not for the upcoming tourism or the upcoming activities, but what do you want the people that are going? And not the delegations or the producers or the crew.
Because you would go wherever the competition is.
It's fine, yeah. People have to work. But for those who don't know, I'm part of the Czech delegation as their assistant head of media, the international media part of the Czech. But no, what do you want, like, the people from them going to Eurovision? What are they can expect, or what's the ultimate goal for Malmö City Hall for the experience? Obviously, I guess you really want them to spend money. I think that's the main thing. But what else you want them to do in Malmö?
Well, we always like spending, obviously. We are in that trade. But we want people to come and experience the Malmö that we love. In Malmö, there's 350,000 people living. I don't know how many
That's
live
half
in
the population of Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah, might be. I've never heard that.
I think so.
I've never heard that comparison. But there's about half of the people who live in Malmö are under the age of 36. So we're a very young city. There's 182 languages being spoken. There's 70 nationalities. So we want people to come and meet the Malmö that is open, that is friendly, and that is just, you cohabit with everybody. And of course, it's not big. You can walk, cycle everywhere in Malmö. You definitely don't need a car, and there's no hill. There's no hill whatsoever. It's always flat. It's windy, but it's flat. So we want Malmö to make an impression, so that when you've experienced the amazing Eurovision, you think, I need to come back. There's more to Malmö than I've seen this time. I need to come back. I need to bring my friend. I need to bring my business partner, or whatever.
then that's fantastic. But there is a dark side to Malmo right now, which is Copenhagen.
Where?
The dark side is because obviously you have, and which is not a different city, but it's a whole different country. If we go back to 2013, when Malmo was announced, even SVT laughed at it with Linda Woodruff saying it's in Denmark. Is it where? It's different. So aren't you scared, or how are you gonna try to reduce the leak of revenue to go to Denmark? Because I haven't received the flights of our delegation, but we're really likely going to Copenhagen Airport. So how is that, or are you afraid of that, or how are you gonna try to keep the money in Malmo?
No, we're never afraid of Copenhagen. Copenhagen is only an asset to us. Copenhagen is a fantastic city, and if you can't find what you're looking for in Malmo and you go to Copenhagen, that's fine. That's not a problem with us. I mean, we're working. It's seamless in our part. You know, it's 20 minutes. I don't know, at Copenhagen Airport, which is I think most Swedes work there. You know, it's just amazing. It's just 5,000 people who are Swedish work at Copenhagen Airport. So we commute. That's like you going to somewhere close to Barcelona. You know, it's not going to another country for us. You know, we commute. We go there.
We still have to change the kroners.
Yeah, but do you ever pay cash? You just
not anymore. I remember I was very thirsty in Malmo, and Copenhagen. Went to Malmo, and they didn't want to sell me the water. And I was like, dude, it's the same money.
No, you swipe
but
your
it
card.
wasn't the same money, but it's fine.
But that card works wherever you go. No, we're part of them. You know, they're only an asset. It's the capital, 20 minutes away. Stockholm is 6.5 hours away.
But for you, this is gonna be maybe a scoop or something. So when you were organizing the bid to submit it to SVT, did you speak with Copenhagen?
No.
You're like, oh, they'll deal with this later.
Yeah, they're only benefiting because the hotels in Malmo are full. The hotels in Lund are full. The hotels in Trelleborg is full. It's full around us. So Copenhagen is benefiting. They're loving it.
Yeah, but like, did you thought that somehow logistically wise, you had to communicate with them at all for any type of aid or?
Not for the show. I know that the police organization is talking to the Danish police, because that's happened before. When we had the Pope arriving and visiting us in Lund, we had the what was it called? We had a big conference where lots of head of states came a couple of years ago. You know, anything from fences, you know, fencing that you put out around the arena to dogs, to policemen, you know, whatever. You know, we work together. We help each other out.
So, what was more exciting, hosting Eurovision or the Pope?
Well, who am I to
I don't know.
but I think the Pope met an awful lot of people, met us in, you know, but he was, I think Eurovision is more of a party, it has to be said.
Okay.
Than when the Pope came.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine. And
He was at the arena, so he was at the same venue.
so we're gonna be in a blessed place.
He stayed with a monk, actually, out in the country when he came, in a monastery with a monk.
Oh, okay. So
He didn't use
I thought he stayed in the
hotel
arena
facilities.
with a monk.
No,
And I
but
was
he
like,
didn't use the
that's
hotel
suspicious.
facilities. It was safer for him to stay in a monastery.
Okay. Now that Eurovision is approaching, can you tell us just a little bits and pieces what are those little details that Malmo's preparing for those who are coming? Some little details that are not on the program, because, you know, normally the program doesn't tell you. The program tells you who's performing. We have big singers. We have Medina. We have Goe. But, you know, those little things that I remember, at least in Rotterdam, the traffic lights were dancing. And the traffic lights, when Måneskin won, they were playing the winning song. So any of those little fun details for tourists going, do you have anything you can tell us?
No, that's not a secret.
Oh, but
So-
it's,
so
not,
that
it's,
would-
not, it's not in the program.
But
So-
I can tell you that we talked about this before. On Saturday, it's is 6th of April.
Okay.
And what's happening? What are we celebrating on Saturday?
Oh, ABBA. ABBA won 50 years ago Eurovision
In Brighton.
in Brighton.
Yeah, and you don't know your ABBA because you don't know that my thing here is an ABBA outfit. If you
didn't
were my
know.
age, you would have in school. You would have been performing to your friends in velour.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what ABBA did when they went on tour. But there will be the ABBA Museum and ABBA Avatar and the whole ABBA complex. They're doing a special thing on Gågatan on the pedestrian street. They're opening for 2 weeks only, I think. They're opening an ABBA special experience.
But are we going to see the real people?
Who am I to tell?
No.
But there's a younger version, the ABBA team.
The 18th. Oh, they were great at Melody Festival
Yeah,
this year.
I saw them. We were there live at Malmo singing them.
Oh, and that was
rock and
Malmo.
rolling.
She already has them there in a little, in Malmo Live, locked them up,
Yeah.
waiting for the first semi-final for them to go out.
Yeah. I'm sure there'd be, some, but there is a big, we are flirting with ABBA. We have to normally. And actually on Saturday, Stockholm is doing a huge sing-along worldwide, I think, or something. They're doing a fun sing-along on the internet.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're looking forward to maybe see them in Malmo. Now, something more relaxed about your experience in 2013, or right now. Can you tell us some key memories that you had from doing Eurovision in 2013?
Yep. In 2013, I was in charge of the host of the delegations. So you're coming with the Czech Republic, and you would have had a person in Malmö looking after you.
Yes.
And that person would have had a team leader, and I was a team leader for them. And that was we've learned from them that when team leaders work during Eurovision, they don't do the normal job too. That's a good lesson learned. But it was amazing. It was really, really good. But we worked our socks off. God, we were so tired. And even though we were actually located in the Malmömässa, which is next to the arena, and at that time you could, security was there, but it was nowhere near as tight as this time. So you could go and watch the semi-finals or the rehearsals, but we didn't. We were so tired. But actually, on the night of the final, when everybody's doing what they're meant to do, we walked in and stood in the crowd when that. Well, you wouldn't remember, but they had this special bridge built in the arena, people coming with all the flags and all that. It was amazing. So we walked in and I saw the first 15 minutes and it was electric. It was absolutely amazing. And that whole atmosphere of, okay, this is why people are so excited about the Eurovision. But then I actually went home and fell asleep. I was so tired.
She woke up and see who won.
No.
And she's like, "Oh, we're going over the bridge tomorrow, next year."
Somebody woke me up. Somebody phoned me at 12 o'clock, and I was like, "Yeah." And it was a journalist. "Oh, I need to know the head of the delegation heads for Denmark." And I was like, "God, why do you want that?" "Well, Denmark won." And I was like, "Oh God," so I had to send them the details. But it was, so I didn't actually see very much, but it was just we created something, or not me personally, but the team who created the city program in 2013. We were lucky, not a drop of rain, but it created an atmosphere in Malmö so that everybody felt at home. It was, it was everybody's event. It was "We Are One" was the theme at the time.
I am afraid of saying it in Swedish, but I know it. No, I know what you mentioned. I think it's a very Swedish thing to say that it was the festival for everybody.
Folkfest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's funny you should say that because we've been struggling to find an English word and we cannot find an English word for it.
We're all going to brainstorm later and find a word.
Folkfest. Festivities, yeah.
And also you have like a folk park, is it?
Folkets Park.
Yeah.
That's where the Eurovision village
Yeah,
comes.
the village is going to come.
But last time in 2013, people are saying there was 30,000 people. I think there were more. But this year we're expecting 100,000 people.
That are going to stay between...
that whole time.
Yeah, Malmö, Lund, and Copenhagen.
No. Who are expecting to come to Malmö?
Okay.
Visiting Malmö during Eurovision, that Eurovision.
For those who are going to Malmö, you as a person of Malmö, as a Malmönese, Malmöneer,
Malmöneer.
what
Malmöit.
What?
Malmöit.
Malmöit. I think we cannot even pronounce Malmö right. How do you say it?
Malmöit.
Malmöit. Yeah, can be better.
Yeah.
So, what do you suggest for the people going to Malmö to do?
Apart from Eurovision, do you mean?
Yes.
I,
Well, with Eurovision. Then
yeah.
can
I
do-
think there are a few Malmö things you can do. You should go to Möllan and have a falafel.
Where?
Falafel. Möllan. Möllevångstorget.
Okay.
Möllevångstorget. Have a falafel.
Okay.
You get the best falafel in Sweden in Malmö. It's like
Lebanese people, you're not representing.
yeah, we got a lot. We got the falafel #1. It's really, really good. There's a great museum called Disgusting Food.
Okay.
Yeah,
We go from falafel to
Yeah.
disgusting food.
yeah,
There's a break there.
yeah. But you can. That's from all over the world. So you get Marmite from the UK.
Yeah.
You get
that-
licorice
yeah.
from Sweden. You get hamsters from another country. You know, you can smell them. You know, it's just a really
And
good.
it's the only museum where Lebanon is not present, obviously. Because we
But
have the best food.
You get a bag in case you're sick.
Oh,
And
really? It is that bad?
People are known to come out of there being sick on the street. Yeah, but it's a really, really good place. And if you like haute couture and if you like Eurovision, you would know who Lars Wallin is, right?
I don't know what's that.
You don't know. Do you know Petra Mede?
Yes,
You know her outfits.
I guess.
Yeah, nice dresses. So Lars Wallin is one of the main haute couture designers in Sweden. And he's doing an exhibition at the Malmö Museum, and it's all Eurovision Melody Festival and related clothes on there.
Oh,
So that'll be fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. We're gonna go to see if we have questions here or online. Anybody would like to ask a question to Miss Anna?
Hi.
My name is Patrick from Eurovision 365. It was announced today that Lydia from 1982
Yeah.
is going to be Euro Village. How
Yes.
are you feeling about that?
Well, it's funny
Okay,
because.
sorry, can you repeat the question as well because he doesn't have a microphone? So
Oh,
just-
right. Yeah. No, he was saying that Lydia Capalicio is going to be one of the hosts in the Eurovision Village. And how do I feel about that? I met Lydia a few weeks ago because she was actually our moderator at a breakfast thing we did where we had Pau from Barcelona
Okay, yeah.
talking about events. I think it's great. She was saying then to us, I will be back in May, but I don't know what I'm doing. But she is the greatest person. She's really good fun. She's good fun, and yeah, I think she's a great choice. Great choice. And of course, she was the host of the 1992 in Malmö, together with Harald.
Something.
No, oh God, I've forgotten his name now. Yeah, he used to be. Yeah, anyway, Harald. Yeah, and yeah, no, she's a great choice. She's very much Eurovision, I'd say. Yeah.
Good. Any other questions here?
There's a lot
Wait for the microphone.
thank you for your words. There's a lot of things to manage to host Eurovision, but I want to ask you about the security. 2024 is a very different and difficult year, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of Eurofans worried about the things. So
Yeah.
tell me a bit about the security thing
Yeah.
in Malmo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, understandably, people are worried, but there is no actual threat to Malmö. There's no actual threat to Eurovision as but there will be a heightened security. There's no, of course there will be. We are hoping to show that Malmö is a safe place to live in and also come and visit. We are hoping that everything which is being prepared for is taken well care of. I think what will happen, what we will see, is that a lot of people are applying to have demonstrations. And of course in Sweden there's a thing that you're allowed to have demonstrations, and you will also have to say where you want to have it, and you can't put them anywhere miles away. But there's, everything is being prepared, and it's very important for us in Malmö that people are allowed to raise their concerns, voice them, and, are able to protest. Not protest, but demonstrate.
Yeah.
That's well, they're allowed to protest too.
Manifestations.
Yeah, manifestations. Yeah, but there is heightened security. Absolutely, there's no denying it. Only because we want to make sure that it is a safe place to be, and people can also demonstrate safely. That's also important to us. That So it goes both ways.
Thank you. Just to highlight something which it happens in many concerts and venues. Um, I don't know how to put it because it can be like a very delicate matter, but at least we see it a lot in festivals here in Barcelona, in Primavera Sound, and other venues where there's a lot of music and a lot of fun and drinks. There are these little places, or we call them triángulos púrpura, ¿cómo se llama aquí? Those are these little spots where people who are not feeling safe in the venue can go and rest or present the cases of that thing. The violet spot or the violet, so it is like I completely changed the name of that color though, I'm so sorry. Where people, are feeling that there has been some sort of assault,
Right.
whether it has been for their sexuality or sexual harassment that can happen, because this can happen. I mean, I haven't experienced it luckily in Eurovision, but those things can happen in clubs. Do you think that you're gonna have these little places for people to feel safe, or for them to present their I'm not gonna say accusations because that sounds very lawyery, which is obviously a very delicate subject, but you think you can count on different spots on the city, or at least a Malmo Live, where you're gonna have the hub of the parties, where people can, when they're not feeling safe, or there has been some sort of mishap. I'm not gonna say that mishap. I'm sorry, my English is not my main language, and this is a very obviously delicate
But
subject.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but can
yeah.
people? Do you think you're gonna count with places like that for people to present those?
I
cases?
haven't heard that we have those in Sweden at all. Actually, Sweden is an open country, and in Malmö we actually have something called Open Malmö, which will cohabit with Eurovision this year. I think now when you mention it, I think maybe we should perhaps be even better at communicating that if you're not feeling safe, contact. But there'll be lots of volunteers, obviously, lots of security out there, lots of policemen or women, police persons out there. I couldn't tell you more than I haven't heard it at festivals or anything generally in Sweden. But Sweden is, we're not without fail and not without difficulties, but we are a fairly open society, I would say.
Okay.
But
Well-
it's interesting that you mentioned it, but I never heard about it.
In Spain, because there are different type of attacks and assaults, not for the LGBTQ community, but for any men or women, where women have the right of having a good time, and many men might believe that giving someone a drink means consent to anything, and it's just really complicated. So in Spain, it has become, I think, Primavera Sound was the first festival that had these little spots where people who are not feeling safe of any type of these episodes, let's call them that, can just go and denounce it and receive that type of aid. I think I just gave you a good idea.
But there are some other have you heard about that in Sweden? Special places? No, I don't think we have them.
I've heard like a special concert festival.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard like special places.
No.
Where you can just do that. I don't know.
But it sounds good though.
Yeah.
I think it's a very.
It's a good idea.
I think it's Spain is the main place that has impulsed this type of places. So maybe that's it. Any other question? Maybe a brighter question. Sorry, we went to a very dark place.
No,
but it's
actually,
happening.
as a follow-up to the topic that you were discussing, you were mentioning how Sweden is a really open city, open country, Malmö being the city. For the LGBT community especially, they know they can go there and feel safe, and for a lot of European fans who live in countries who do not have that amount of rights, I'm pretty sure that that's really welcome. And I wanted to ask, because this past year we've seen quite a regression on some countries, especially on equal rights, equal gender, equality in general, and LGBT in particular. And I was wondering, do you plan on doing any kind of statement or something of kind of like a support? I don't want to say activist, but you know what I mean, kind of like an action that reaffirms this quality of Sweden?
I think you see it in our program. I think you see it in what we're organizing, where you can go, where you can visit. I think that's our statement, that we're trying to include it to show that we are an open city and there is something for everybody, and we are making sure that it's being shown in the program. I think that's our statement that we're doing.
I don't think it's a secret, which is very fun, because in the early 90s until late 2010-ish, let's say 2015, Eurovision was mainly people used to think that it was the main target was the LGBTQ community, but right now you can see a lot of straight people in it.
That's like an accusation.
Yeah, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" No, I'm joking. But it has become as it has grown so much, the mainstream of Eurovision, and I think it's also the whole work that the EBU and broadcasters and us and the delegations have been put just to put amazing music and amazing show first. It just obviously shifted, because it's not that camp. Well, it is camp, but it's not as camp as it used to be. Now we can see that it has fantastic songs in it, and it's a marvelous work and TV. Obviously, you still have a huge follow from the LGBTQ community, which is kind of fun, because in the Olympics you're just thinking who's the stronger and who jumped more perfectly. In Eurovision, you're just watching and it's like, should I vote for this French lady who's making me feel something different? So like you're voting for how you feel or for really what you like, which is really, in the end, is very strange, because who are we to judge other people's art? It's different.
Yeah.
But we can see, or we still feel that Eurovision is a big, huge gay pride parade, where and it's very hetero-friendly. So I think everybody has felt very safe in Eurovision, from the LGBTQ community, or I'm the rainbow shape of my delegation, Carolina. Everybody's very straight in the Czech team. So, and they all love it, and they all have felt very safe. And I think that Sweden is going to be the perfect place to showcase that.
Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned that, because when we talked to Liverpool about the SoMe, a huge follower age group was actually I think it was the 24 to 35 women in America.
Okay.
Followed and interacted with.
They're feeling identified over there.
Yeah. Which is, that's not, and if you look at what countries buy tickets, I think there's something like 88 countries, different nationalities have actually bought tickets this year. And if you look at, the age groups and everything, so it is much more diverse. And I lived in the UK for many years, even though that was a while ago. Eurovision was spat upon. I mean, it was like you wouldn't touch it with a barge pole in the UK. Well, it's recently, and now the UK is, after the Swedes and the Danes, are number 3 in the amount of tickets who've been bought.
But also they can afford it.
Yes, yeah,
because
but they still don't have to go if they don't like it.
No, but I think if it was more accessible, people from Spain.
But they bought the expensive tickets. The UK bought the expensive tickets.
You see, because they can afford it.
Yeah, but
no,
it is interesting that it's hetero-friendly.
But also as part of the head of the media team of Eurovision, I think Maria and I have seen the details and the numbers that, funny enough, the content that it's created for Eurovision, media-wise, most following are girls from age 14 to 22.
Yeah.
It's who are consuming more and more the Eurovision content.
Yeah.
And it is also, obviously TikTok, the partnership that was announced this morning with TikTok for 3rd year in a row. The new generations are just entering and growing, and we cannot also deny the involvement of TikTok, making many of the songs viral, whether they win or not. We have Lorraine, who was fantastic, but
perhaps it's also slightly better music nowadays.
I think we are.
Some countries are. Some countries are.
The Czech Republic is doing well, so that's an important thing. Vote
Yeah.
Second semifinal, just saying. But anyone has other questions? Please feel free to have one question over there. Any questions? Online, ¿alguna pregunta? No, it's okay. So, can you tell us one last sentence to say farewell to you? But I will see you in Malmo. Well, I will. I don't know about them. You're all welcome to Malmo. But just your final words and a goodbye for us to see you in Malmo.
I think I can say, well, I can say from the bottom of our hearts in Malmö, welcome to Malmö, and come and help us make this the just coolest, best open Eurovision ever. It's going to be so good.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you
being
for
here. Thanks
having
your
me.
time.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a little break,
Thank you.
and we will be back at 3:30ish, maybe. So don't go too far. We'll be back.
That's a good Spanish
and we
break,
will.
isn't it? Like 40 minutes.
Okay, we hired for 10 minutes. Okay. No, let's just be here at 3:10. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you.
Scandinavian break,
Yeah.
I think.
Coge tu perfil, cariño. Ok, ¿nos avisas cuando vamos live? Ok, fine. ¿Alguien que se siente aquí? Bueno, ok. No, I have mine. Is that what you wanted? Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you're there, and if you're not, internet, we'll see you later. I'm very, very glad and proud to have these great women here, and you as well. I'm gonna speak, or we're going to speak, I'm gonna lead, as I'm not really part of the discussion. We have a panel about women of Eurovision, and when they asked me to create this panel and find the representation of strong women behind the scenes, and sometimes on the scene as well, of Eurovision Song Contest, I was thinking directly of these wonderful ladies. I have with me Maria Bo. She is the head of media for the Spanish delegation from the Spanish national broadcaster. Welcome. Come on, can you show her some love? That was very fast. And also a great TV director and content creator for the best delegation available, the Czech delegation, the Czech team from the Czech national broadcaster, Karolina Lukashkova. And all the way from the Netherlands. And well, she was introduced to the Eurovision world through the Dutch national broadcaster, but she worked directly with the RAI, which is the Italian national broadcaster, with the BBC as a contest producer. She is the mind that creates the dreams a reality. Maxine Klein, Maxine Klein. Yeah. And one of the most amazing vocalists in the Nordics.
Wow.
Yes. Singer-songwriter. She has won the Melodifestivalen once. She has won the Dance Melody Grand Prix twice. select her jobs really picky, but with amazing songs. And singer-songwriter Melanie Wehbe Hairapetian. And here they are. A group of strong women. I'm definitely identifying as a male, pronouns he, him. But I'm here to lead a little bit this discussion as I'm organizing this and as I'm very, very close to these ladies, I wanted to be part of this somehow. And we have some questions for you to get to know a little bit how Eurovision is behind the scenes and how it is for women as well. And the first one, whoever wants to answer first, how did you get the job that you are right now? How you entered the Eurovision world? How was that? Who wants to go first?
I can start.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carolina.
I think my journey there is a little bit funny because I have to say in Czech Republic, Eurovision is not like here. Almost like nobody knows Eurovision there, or they doesn't like Eurovision so much actually. So I can say it.
It's true.
I think it's true.
We're working hard to change it.
Yes. So, and I was on Facebook. I just finished my master degree on film school, and I saw advertisement that they are looking for somebody who can work with camera and edit and direct some videos on social media for Eurovision. I was like, I don't know what's Eurovision. I asked my father. He told me, and then I made the interview. They told me you make it. You can make it. Then I went on Facebook and I saw my new colleagues. They were really hot, so I said, okay, it's gonna be fun. And then that year we went to Tel Aviv, and it was like for me the biggest adventure. And since that, it's 6 years already.
Yeah.
This is 6th year from that, and it's like my biggest love and biggest job. I love, and I do it every year, and I'm looking forward. I became like big fan of Eurovision, I think, thanks to that.
Yeah. Who goes after? You.
Yeah, should I? Well, I think my Eurovision adventure started when Duncan Lawrence won the Eurovision in, where was it again? Sorry.
2019.
2019, yes.
With her, and the first Eurovision that Carolina won.
Yeah, so Duncan Lawrence won, and then of course in the Netherlands it's not the same as in the Czech Republic, but it's kind of similar. It wasn't that popular. Of course, people watch it. We know what it is, but it wasn't that big. Not as it is right now. But yeah, we won this thing, and I worked for the Dutch public broadcaster, and I wanted in. You know, you see it when you work in television and you look at Eurovision and you watch Eurovision every year. You want to produce that. So when it comes to your country, you do everything you can to get involved in the production. And eventually, by stalking my way through the production, I got my job in September of 2019. Yeah. But then, of course, the first Eurovision in the Netherlands didn't happen because of the COVID pandemic. So we got to do it all over again in 2021 in Rotterdam.
And then?
Yeah, after that, it kind of became... it was weird because we finished Eurovision in 2021 and I was like, oh, this was a great adventure, once-in-a-lifetime experience. So, yeah, we had a good time. And, of course, there was COVID, so it wasn't the real Eurovision as we had it last year in Liverpool. But we had a good time, and then, we closed things off. That was it. But that wasn't it, because then at the end of the summer, Rai called, that's the Italian public broadcaster, and they asked us to do it again, the same job. And then we did the same job in Italy. Again, closed it off. Was a great adventure, once in a lifetime. And then the BBC called at the end of the summer, saying, do you want to do it again? So, 4 years in a row. Wow.
Yeah, but SVT has not called you yet.
No.
But we still have time.
Oh, the people from Sweden can do it themselves.
Yeah, it's okay. And great journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it has been.
Now she's really crossing her fingers for Netherlands to win again, so she can have her job
we
back.
We will.
Yeah. Now, Maria, you want to go?
Okay, so I would sum it up saying my journey was unexpected. I studied journalism. I did my master's on TV journalism, so nothing to do with Eurovision. I've always loved Eurovision, just as a fan. But I never expected this. So I've worked for nearly 5 years in Televisión Española News Channel, doing my reports and my live coverage, so nothing to do. And, journalism job insecurity. I ended up unemployed. And after 3 months, I was offered this new position on RTV communications department, doing things different from Eurovision, like developing several corporate communications for other projects, such as Benidorm Fest, which is our national pre-selection. And after 1 year working there, I was offered this head of media position, and of course, I said yes.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, something tiny, head of media. She's like, yeah, whatever.
So,
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for this. I think that's why I'm enjoying this that much.
Okay. And Melanie?
Yeah, wow. You know the journey.
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah. No, I think my journey started 2014. I did my debut in Melodifestivalen as a songwriter. I was kind of naive and didn't know anything about the industry or the bubbles like Melodifestivalen and Eurovision.
For those who don't know, sorry, the Melodifestivalen is a big TV show, which also is the Swedish national selection.
Yes.
Which actually has more viewership than Eurovision itself in Sweden.
It's beyond.
So it is like a big TV show as well.
It's a folkfest, the word we heard earlier. Yeah, no, and since 2014, I've been doing backing vocals in Melodifestivalen and been a songwriter. And 2023, I did my debut as an artist. 2019, I won in Denmark. Funny enough, my first Eurovision year as well with these two women, even though we didn't see, I don't remember you like that, but I'm happy we met now. And 2020 I won with in Sweden with the Mamas. Unfortunately, COVID happened. Yes, and this year with Saba Sand. And I would say I'm here because I haven't allowed somebody else's no or closed door to rule my, to control my path. I think it's important for everyone to. It's a tough industry. Following a dream, following whatever you're doing, if it's your music or if you have other dreams, like if someone is telling you no, it doesn't mean it's never gonna happen. It means maybe you get more time to develop or understand who you are, what you want. So just not giving up.
Thank you. Interesting. So can we tell the rest of the people, because they found, I think they heard funny things like head of media, what is that? What is the contest producer? Maybe we can tell them they know what a TV director is, but maybe the content, what do we do, or what's your job? Let's start from there over here. Maria, starting with you. What does the head of media does? Give accreditation.
Multitasking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. And you can relate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We almost do everything. We are supposed to be like multifaceted. But it's not just for head of media positions. I mean, for our generation, we tend to be like that.
They're asking a lot of this generation.
Yeah.
No, so what do you do? General, what does the head of media do?
Apart from developing the communication strategy, as I mentioned, my tasks have increased a lot in 1 or 2 years, and now I am really in contact. I'm like the balance between the company, the public broadcaster, and the media. So I'm like in between. And for example, I coordinate the communication within our company with the PR department, press, social media, and other programs in radio, television, digital. I also have a close relationship with media, with you guys. I work producing interviews, shootings,
camera girl.
gigs. I'm camera girl.
I saw her the red carpet like thing.
Yeah. Having lives on Instagram as well. Sometimes community manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah. Thank you. Also assigned the accreditations, who's going and who's not going to Malmo from the national media. So that's why people hate us a little.
And love us too.
Yeah, and all of a
It
sudden
depends.
people are real close friends. Carolina, what do you do for the Czech broadcaster?
Like there are like two kinds of things what I do there. I'm like like short, let's say, I do everything about videos there. I'm the girl for everything about the videos. And there are two things that Eurovision wants from us to bring them. So, and it's every year different, because every year the digital I call it big Eurovision, the organization is different. So they want from us some small videos for their editing, what our interpreter says or something like that. Also some music videos, and I don't know what else. But every year is some package of this, what I have to prepare for them. And then there is another thing what I do for us is some like marketing videos, something what we can put on Instagram or something like this to show who is our representative. So every year I do it some different way, because every year is different. Last year we had a group of 6 girls, so it was a little bit different work for me than this year when we have 1 girl, and before it was group of boys, like boys band. And so every year I make it different. I started 6 years ago to make it like small raps, like in TV, just small. It was like music rap, something like this, like vlogs, I can say. But I'm changing it every year, because I'm growing with Eurovision. I think. So last year it became to be 5 small documentary movies, and it will help me actually, because now I'm starting to make my own big documentary movie. So I'm working with this to learn something for me and to make something bigger for Eurovision. So now it's like this, and this year I'm doing like this.
She does a lot.
But the biggest thing on it is that I always have to be with our artist. So on every pre-party.
Yeah.
The biggest and the toughest.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But the biggest.
Yeah, but also something that I'm not sure if it happens to you with your artist, but me as head of media, we're also kind of psychologists and therapists, and when they're crying, and you're like, don't cry.
Yeah, like
the
coaching.
hate online is not real, and it is tough. It is really tough.
And for me, it's the same.
Yeah.
Because we are like the
when
people who are there with the artist.
Yeah, so sometimes we had Vesna last year that there were 6 girls, and when 6 girls are crying, it's like, you pick 3, I pick 3, and they were like...
It's like
I was crying with them, actually.
You have to be empathic all the time. When you're really down and you have to cheer them up, when you don't feel like doing it, but still you have to.
It is, yeah, the media part is more difficult, with all due respect. Like emotionally complex than...
Excuse me, we're the ones being on stage.
Okay.
We're the exposed ones.
Okay. Maxime, that she's hiding in the viewing room.
Yeah, I'm hiding out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I meet you guys sometimes in the viewing room. So no, my job for the last 4 years has been contest producer. And what I basically do is I am the contact person for all delegations and their artists for their 3 minutes on stage and also the 3 minutes on television. In short, each country chooses their own song, but they also choose their own staging. So are they bringing props? What do they want with lights? Do they have backing vocals? Do they want special things on the screens? Do they want pyrotechnics? Now, all that kind of stuff, they bring it to me and I arrange it for them. And yeah, then they enter the venue and then I show them what I produced, and then they're all very, very unhappy. And then they come crying to you. And then during the weeks that we are together and rehearsing, we make them a little bit more happy every day. And then at the end of the period, when the grand final is there, then everybody's smiling. If I did my job well.
Nice. And Melanie, what do you do?
And I am the emotional bubble who does life out there so these can have a job.
It's like a chain.
I mean, it's interesting. No, but honestly, like music is a language to me. So I'm a songwriter and also a performer. So yeah, we have a saying, my team, they say, everything starts with a note. And I mean, it's a music contest. So yeah, I write songs and
You
I love confetti. I love winning, so I get the confetti.
So also, I can say in a fancy way, that you write people emotions and make them into songs.
I mean, that's true. And also, like, being a songwriter, I'm focusing on that right now. It's important because like this year I've written Denmark song, and Saba, who's representing Denmark, she is. It's important to me that women in this industry are being heard, because honestly, it's a tough industry, and it's tough being a woman in this industry. I mean, in a way, every woman has been accepted and approved by men. So I think my role, and the older I get, is to make sure that the artist I represent is happy, and after Eurovision, that they're proud of themselves and that they feel that they've done their journey. Because we're in a music industry with so many opinions. I know it. I mean, I'm an artist as well, and I just think it's important that we follow the artist, because as a composer, as a team member in the delegation, and also in Eurovision, we have a next year, but the artist doesn't. Maybe. I mean, if Loreen does, but like
Most of them don't.
Yeah, most of them don't.
No.
So it's important to make sure that when Eurovision is over, they're proud of themselves and they can, just look back.
Now that you mentioned something about women, let's speak about the role of women in Eurovision. I mean, we know that stage-wise, women are more successful than men winning the contest. I think there's a 55% more women soloists have won Eurovision more than men, who might be at 30-something and groups at 20. So women are more successful than men on that. Good. So what do you see the role of women, and how do you see the importance of having mentors from women to women in the Eurovision bubble?
Well, I think if I can start, I think, of course, we all see Eurovision on television and we have an image of what it's behind the scenes, but it's nothing like that, because in the end, Eurovision is a very high-scale technical production, which ultimately means that backstage, 80% of the people is men, because in technical functions, in technical jobs, it's still more men than women, especially in television. And I can only say it from my point of view, because of course, I work with a lot of women who are doing the media, and also more and more camera women are coming up. But in the end, when I'm in crew catering eating my dinner, I'm surrounded by men. Even though when you look at Eurovision, it's so, how do you say it? It's so like 2024. It's so progressive, but it really isn't. If you look at the backstage side of things, because it's all men producing it, and me, of course, and there are of course some more women behind the scenes. It's not just me, but we are outnumbered. And I think last year, working in Liverpool for the BBC, they have this quotum. So everybody you hire has to be, it has to represent what the UK is. And that was the first time, to be honest, working in a television production, also besides Eurovision, but for me, the first time working in a television production that actually represented what the country was. So a lot of women, but just people from all generations were working there. And I thought it was really cool, but it was the first time I saw it also in Eurovision. So I think we can do better.
Yeah, definitely. Maria, you want to add something?
I was thinking that I feel so glad of being here with these young women, because sometimes I've underestimated myself because of being a young woman. It's like I don't feel like I belong to that kind of position. I don't know if it happens to you also. It's like I don't owe you. I don't owe the right to be there.
Yeah, and I completely respect how you feel, and I share it. But I think it's also the fact of being very young, and as you mentioned, you are a bit of a fan of the contest before you started. Happened to me. I come from the fan sites, from the fan blogs, and I think there's something called the imposter syndrome. That somehow...
But I think that's a generation thing as well. I think that's across, even if you're women, men, or however you identify. I think everybody from our generation kind of feels like that sometimes.
So you're not only there.
Okay,
not
thanks.
the only one.
No,
That's really have to.
Yeah, but in the communication sector, it's true that there are a lot of women. But for example, I don't see much journalists, women. I see more men in the media I am in contact with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're lacking for women, and also in the crowd, we're lacking for female fans. It's true. For example, last weekend we were in Madrid pre-party, and I was amazed by how the crowd is even more diverse every year, and I got to meet a lot of women, and I was so happy about that. But still, there's
Majority
a lot
of
of
men.
It's
work
also
to
the
do.
process that you talked about with the panel before us. It's about Eurovision evolving into a much broader,
Less of a niche,
yeah. Because of course, 10 years ago when you watched Eurovision, you watched it also just to laugh a little bit at the songs, right? Let's be honest. But now, more and more credible artists represent their countries, which ultimately leads to...
Thank you for looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
If I'm looking at what the Netherlands sent 10 years ago, it's, oh my God, we should be ashamed.
Well, it was kind of a nuke. That's when you reversed.
Okay, let's say 15 years.
Okay.
But Eurovision had this image about being goofy and not really credible, and now that's evolving, and that's great. And I think with that evolvement, it will also bring another audience. And you see that now as well, because a lot of young people watch it. It's very... I don't know how they do it, but it's very unique that a kind of outdated television concept has this whole revival with new young people. That's great.
Yeah, but we also can see that more credible artists are, as you mentioned, are coming up on stage, and I think better music is being placed in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's all an effort.
I think actually this year is really good music in Europe. It's much more than years before. It's less circus or something like this. I don't
people
know.
start to take it more seriously, and I think with that, a more serious audience also comes in. But yeah, still.
I was going to say, like, that's interesting because I think with Melodifestivalen as well, we can kind of compare both Melodifestivalen and Eurovision. But I think this was the first final in a long time where we didn't have like an act who is kind of like does the funny thing. And I think it's like, to me, I think it's nice because it's a music contest. Of course, it's a TV show, but we want to. I wish and hope every country wants to send an artist that represents them, because it's a chance to like get a reach and like culturally show the world what a country can produce.
Yeah, that's also, of course, always a little bit tricky because sometimes a country sends something and you are from a different country and you're looking at it like, what am I looking at? But it's for them, it's very serious, and maybe that act is really big in the country that where they come from.
No,
Yeah.
but actually, you can't take it like this because in every country is TV. Which is like deciding like TV broadcaster who is deciding who's gonna be there.
Exactly, yeah.
And in every TV it's different.
Yeah.
Like in some TV they are like, oh, this is good for Eurovision because this is that Eurovision style, so we will put this.
Yeah.
And in another one TV they are like, oh, this is the best from our culture, so we will put this. And from next one is, this singer is my friend, so I think, or this I slept with him, so I can put him.
True as well.
So it's not you can't compare it.
Well,
It would be so amazing.
Wait.
But still, if there are funnier performances, we can picture many.
Croatia last year?
Yeah, from past years, it's still professional.
Exactly.
And that's the way. That's a path.
Also important that we can highlight, and I think this might be polarized, and please, Maria, don't be upset with me. But
No
there's the
worries.
Spanish song. The Spanish song, many people outside Spain might not really understand what it is about, but it has such a strong and serious message behind it.
It does.
It's a very feminist song, and Carolina was telling me, I really don't understand it.
We are making an effort so that people can understand the message, but I think everyone can relate to that message.
What is the song about? Like,
It's
I haven't
about
heard it yet.
female empowerment. It's called Zorra,
Yeah.
which in English translates into vixen, and it's how the singer Mary. It's an autobiographical song,
Cool.
and it's how she has felt for many years. Misjudged by her behavior, or because she has lived freely, you know, and
Like men do.
now she has, I don't know, she's in her 50s, so it's older for being a Eurovision entry, apparently, and she has also this powerful message of you can be a woman doing whatever you want to do, and you can chase your dreams, no matter your age,
But
or how you behave, or how you present to the world.
But also, I think there is a deeper thing which goes again with the Spanish language. Because in the Spanish language, you might not have it translated in English, because that's very, very Spanish to differentiate. But if a woman is a vixen in Spain, it means something not really good. But if a man is a fox, then he
Literally,
is smart.
The zorra is the female fox.
Yeah?
So if you're a zorro, a man, you're a hero, and if
In
you're
Spanish-
a zorra, you're...
No.
But isn't
It
that
has a bad
like isn't
connotation.
that society itself? I mean, when it comes
No,
to,
it
I
is.
think we spoke about it earlier. Like we've had acts, women that kind of look similar in the contest, and they get compared. They get attacked. A woman in this industry has to be perfect in every aspect. But when it comes to men, they can have a T-shirt and a pair of jeans, and we have like thousands of them, but they don't get attacked the same way. And I think that's an issue, and we need to, as people with social media out there, we need to like back the women, because it's tough. It's tough being the one in front and taking hate like that.
Or just be kind.
Just be
Just
kind.
be kind.
Just be kind.
It's something very important, because a woman, I'm saying this from experience of our artists and the Czech delegation and other artists that we've seen, they need to be really pretty. They need to be kind of skinny. Or don't have any extra rolls here and there. The outfit needs to be amazing. They need to sing perfectly, have an outstanding song, move a lot, but not too much, and don't be standing, because so the women are
You're
criticized
right.
and have amazing vocals, while I've seen some very famous, popular people about to win the thing, and they can miss some notes, and nobody tells them anything. And oh, it's amazing. Body positivity in a man looks great, but if a woman wants to do it, then oh, what is she thinking about? Why she was wearing that?
How many times have we heard
Well
this?
said.
She's a Chanel,
Yeah.
here in Spain. Like, compare any other artist to
happened a lot-
Chanel.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my God,
let's
Chanel,
stop it.
she was like so perfect, like in everything. I still
Yeah,
understand
but we
why
don't have to compare all the time women.
Chanel.
I mean,
It happened a lot with Malta this year. It was like, oh, this Chanel,
that
Chanel.
was
So
what
it's
I was
like,
thinking.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to be that one, but how much of comparison do we have? There's another country who's on the top charts that kind of sounds similar to the almost winner last year. And I just think like if we compare everyone, or don't compare. Just let everyone express and be who they are as an artist. Of course, we're gonna have similarities. I mean, as long as we have pop songs, and they sound similar. We have jazz songs. Like, it's gonna be similar. But respect the artist and their craft.
And
That's
the
all
team
I say.
behind it.
And the team behind it, because honestly, I've been in front now in Melodifestivalen, and the team, like, I'm saying it to you. No, I'm not the artist in your team, but thank you, honestly, for putting your heart in your job, so we as artists can be in front and have the 3 minutes to share a message. Like, if you knew how much people work behind stage, it's beyond. And like, since 2014, I've seen the steady camera people, the photographers, the people in viewing room, everything, and people put their heart in this. It's so important to remember.
Thank you, man. One thing that we want to discuss in this next point is mentorship. How do you feel? Have you had the opportunity of mentor young women professionally, or being mentored by? And if you have, who you present as a person that has been your mentor, and how was that?
If I can start, I think, like I said before, my job, of course, I've done Eurovision for a couple of years now, but I do other things as well. I cannot live on the 4 months of work every year,
Yeah.
so I do other productions in the Netherlands, and it is a man's world. I cannot, nobody comes to mind right now saying, okay, she is my mentor, she's been my mentor, because it has always been guys. And great guys, nothing wrong with that, but there's not someone for me that pops into mind.
But
That
imagine
was
that you're gonna be somebody else's mentor, and
yeah,
that's
I hope
beautiful.
I hope to someday. Yeah, absolutely.
Will you be open to that?
Absolutely.
Like, actually, I wanted to say when Ahmad told me before the questions, I was like thinking, I didn't have. I'm also like you. I'm coming from film industry. It's like men's world. Like you can see cameramans here. So sorry, but I want to say when I was at Eurovision, I don't know if it was like 2 years ago, and I saw you there. I was like, oh my God, that's a woman. She's here only with the men, and she's leading it, and she's so good and so
out.
nice, and wow. So you are something
No,
like
that's so
very
sweet.
inspiring for me.
Thank you.
Well, that takes us to the next question, which is the Eurovision and its women. Who a winner, a delegate that you think of? Okay, these people changed Eurovision. This woman had changed Eurovision for me or for the industry. Who can you highlight from behind the scenes? A woman or from the front of the scene? Like when they asked me that question, I had some women in my mind, and were this four that I was thinking who are the strong women, smart, dedicated women that I know that are tied to Eurovision, and I was thinking of you. But for me not to be like I'm making, trying to win you over because we're friends now. We're don't have. I think two or three women that I've seen on stage that have changed how Eurovision is for me. One is Eleni Foureira, which has one of the best performances, and I had the opportunity of meeting Eleni, working with her. Eleni Foureira is a lioness on stage, and I think that was. I was thinking, yes. After Lisbon, I'm gonna do full-time Eurovision somehow. Lorraine, seeing the kind heart that Lorraine has, and a woman. I'm not sure if any of you knows her, but I think you too. Lotta Fureback from Sweden.
I know her, yes.
Seeing Lotta work in Melfest, and it's brilliant. Because I've always seen her and always been very intimidated by Lotta, just knowing how smart and how she crafts a stage and how she leads the Swedish team. It's brilliant, but I was like, oh my God, she's always so stylish and she's always looking great. And then I remember when Lorraine had her stage invasion, that we had an activist running into the Melody Festival on stage to protest and make himself heard. They had to stop everything, and who you saw running and fixing everything was Lotta. And I was like, oh, it's her putting, hands on, doing everything for that show. So I think Lotta Fureback for me is just a brilliant professional woman that I've seen and I admire a lot, and great person to have. So you want to go?
Luckily, my bosses are women. So the Spanish delegation is led by Ana Maria Bordas. She's the head of delegation. And she's like a really quiet, hard worker. She always stays in the background, but she's always pushing. And she's member of the reference group for the Junior Eurovision and the Eurovision Song Contest.
We're hosting Junior Eurovision this year in Spain.
And she's also the vice president for the TV committee in the EBU. So she's really linked to the EBU, and that's good for Spain. Also, Maria Izaguirre, she's the RTV's director of communications. And they are both two capable women and really hard workers. So for me, they are my role model nowadays. And I was also thinking about Ángela Espejo. She works in the EBU digital communication team. Yeah. She's been there, I think, only for 2 or 3 years. And I love how she works. She's really quick, and she has the best ideas in order to create content. And I love her working there as a Spanish. She's also Spanish, and she lives here in Barcelona, because the EBU digital team is mainly men and British men. Yeah, from the UK. So for me, it's like amazing that a young Spanish woman is there. And also Blanca Paloma, last year representative from Spain. Because last year was my first year at the Eurovision Song Contest, so I was completely terrified at the beginning, and she was really welcoming, and well, I love her. She's a great human being. She made everything easy for me, and working with her was really rewarding. Yeah, it was an amazing
brilliant
experience.
Singer as well.
Yeah. And brilliant singer as well.
Thank you. Carolina? Nobody.
Like, for me personally, if I can say,
Yeah.
it was last year's our music group Vesna, because personally for me, few months before last Eurovision when we started, I broke up with my boyfriend after many years, and I was like down, very down, and then there came 6 girls, very powerful women, so. And they just took me inside, and we became big friends. And for me, all the pre-parties journey and the Eurovision last year with them became so strong, and they like took me up again. So this was like this was the women's power, I think. And there was one biggest moment for me in Eurovision last year after their performance in the final. They came down from the stage, and they were running to me and hugging me, all of them, and we were crying, all of us, because they were like full of the energy and adrenaline and everything after the staging, because you were there for those 3 minutes, and they were like hugging me and saying, you are our part, you are the Vesna like us. And it was because I couldn't be with them in green room after that, so we were like enjoying our last few seconds before they will leave me and wait
for the point.
end. Yes. And then we were together.
Yeah.
So this was the biggest for me, like women's, which changed me everything in Eurovision.
Maxine.
Yeah, I come across, in backstage not a lot of women, but on the delegation side, of course, you mentioned Lotta. You have a few creatives that are women. Sasha is one of them. She does Sweden each year. I think Switzerland as well.
Sasha Jean-Baptiste.
Yes, and they are amazing to work with. But I think who impressed me the most, and I'm sorry because I just can't remember her name, and I meet her every year, so I'm very sorry. But in Eurovision, you have special cameras. So a fly camera, a crane camera, and they're all delivered by the same company each year. That company is Opertech. It's a Ukrainian company. And the whole team from Opertech who do all these special cameras, so all the amazing shots that you see are from Ukraine. And there's one woman who just runs that whole show. And I'm always very impressed by her because she is the head of a team of Ukrainian men, you know? And you see her running around in heels and just telling everybody what to do and being so great at her job. And I met her in Rotterdam for the first time, and I think that's pretty amazing because I'm on the technical part of the production as well, so she really inspires me, yeah.
Thank you. And?
I would say Linnea Deb. Songwriter. Also, my debut in Melodifestivalen was with her. She won Eurovision with Måns Zelmerlöw, and she's representing Sweden this year as well with Marcus and Martinez. And I've always had her as a role model because she's a woman. It's not, we don't have, we're becoming more and more songwriters and also producers in the industry, but it's still not like equal. But she's always been there, and she always like, if something isn't like equal or something is unfair, she's always like, sometimes I feel like we're a team, like we're the duo who always gives a little headache here and there, because it's important and we have each other, and I'm super proud of that. And I would also say my mom, believe it or not, she has been a songwriter in Eurovision.
Yes.
She wrote Love is Forever, the French part. She didn't get writer's credits, and that's another discussion. We're not taking it here. But I'm proud because I've done Eurovision with my mom. And she has always supported me and made me understand that I can be free in whoever I am and do whatever I want. And also, I'm super proud this year of Saba because she represents Denmark. She is black, she is queer, and she is here.
Good. Well, can we have first a round of applause for all the wonderful women that are here and they mentioned? Now let's break the ice to do something a little different. let's just start because I love this idea. So I wanted to change a little bit where the conference is going, to just talk a little bit about what we've done and experienced in Eurovision. And maybe we can tell a couple of stories from behind the scenes. And there is one that Maxine told our students, because not the first time she is in EU. She told us a story about a piano in Turin.
This is my favorite story to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit what happened?
Yeah, so in my job, I'm also responsible for all the props. So everything you see on stage, delegations come up with this themselves, usually, or they ask for my help. But most of the time, they just send a sketch and say, okay, this is what I want. And sometimes it's a middle finger where, oh, sorry, I don't know if I can do this. But where pyro comes out, or sometimes it's like Malta had last year with the different rooms. And well, it goes from really big props to really small props. But everything they want, it has to come through me. So in Italy, of course, I don't know if there are Eurovision fans in the audience, but not everything went that smoothly that year. Everybody knows.
The stage broke.
The stage broke. Well, everything broke. But in the end, we made it work. But so also we had a props department, and the communication with them was not the best. They did their best, and they were really great people, but it just wasn't up to the scale that Eurovision needs to be. And so on the day the props arrived, so I have to tell you, Malta, I don't know if you remember the artist that they've sent that year.
Emma Muscat.
Emma Muscat, yeah, she had a pretty ballad, and she was sitting behind the piano, and they ordered with me a mirrored piano. So it was like a big wing piano with mirrors on it, so you could see her from every angle. Very difficult, pain in my ass, but that's what they wanted. So okay. So I had it made in Rome. There was one guy who could make it in 3 weeks' time. So I found a props guy, and he was going to create it. So that's great. And then it arrived 2 days before Malta arrived. The props arrived. We unpack it, we clean it, we look at it through the cameras, see how it looks on stage. And one of our props guys, or our stage managers, he unpacked the piano, and he called me and he said, something's wrong. And I said, well, what's wrong? It's piano with mirrors on it. I don't know what could go wrong, but I will walk downstairs. Let's have a look and then have lunch. Okay. So I walked downstairs, and we couldn't lay our finger on what was wrong, but it didn't look right. So what they did in Rome, stop laughing. It was the worst moment of my life. What they did in Rome is that they didn't put mirror foil on the piano. They actually mirrored the piano. So when you have a grand piano, normally the wing goes like this, but now the wing went like this, and all the keys were in the wrong, like the opposite position. And that's, of course, a problem, because the girl who was going to play it was actually a pianist. It wasn't just a prop that's somewhere in the background. It was, she actually had to play it, and it, oh man.
But why did they mirror, like, why did
They,
they touch that?
because I ordered a mirrored piano. Yeah.
I love English.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, and I didn't know up front that I had to be so clear about it, but I had to be.
And
so
they had mirrors on it as well.
it had mirrors on it as well, but they
Oh,
also.
mirrored everything.
Yeah. So what?
It's
Yeah,
like
what-
if you're seeing a piano through a mirror.
What they basically did is build a whole new piano.
It's hilarious now. I don't think it was funny for her when she
No,
had
I
to see
didn't
it.
Imagine
cry.
the work of like mirroring everything.
Yeah, and I thought when I ordered it, I thought, oh, that's expensive, because you can just buy a grand piano, put mirror on it, rent it out, take the mirrors off, and then it's done. But it was pretty expensive. But okay, yeah, fine, whatever.
And
it's
Malta said, yes,
Eurovision.
we're paying for it.
Yeah, so okay, well, fine, and then I had to call the head of delegation.
Gordon.
Gordon, and he's a really
You
nice
said,
guy, so
can she
that was
play
okay.
backwards?
Well, no, I had to tell him, but I was laughing while telling him, and he was like, you don't get to laugh. This is not funny, Maxime. This is not funny. I said, I'm sorry, I just can't stop laughing. It was terrible. And then in the end, luckily, the guy from Rome, he took full responsibility. So he came in the night to Turin. It's like a 6-7 hour drive. He took the one back, then he rebuilt it, and then he brought it back
On
right
time for
before.
the
You
rehearsal.
made it on
I
time.
think it was there 10 minutes before they went on stage for the first rehearsal. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a great time.
But now you can laugh at it.
Oh yeah, now it's my funniest story to tell.
Any other?
I remember the dogs from Liverpool Bubble delegation.
Yeah,
You
oh, that
remember?
was really nice. Yes.
We were crazy about the dogs.
Yeah.
And also,
Just a quick question for you that
Okay.
don't know. So the delegation bubble is really stressful because you really need to get ready to go on stage, and you have that little butterfly effect, that feeling that it's building up. But for security reasons, we had dogs, but the dogs were really friendly.
Really cute.
And we were like petting the dogs, and they really helped us to calm us down. So yes, and Blanca Paloma was singing to a dog,
Yeah.
and that went viral.
That went viral, and also Blanca Paloma meeting Marco Mengoni from Italy. They
Yes.
came across in the bubble delegation. We were just there chilling. I mean, there was nothing special at that moment,
Yeah.
but they came across and they hugged and say hello, how are you, blah blah blah, and she started patting him on his chest,
Yeah.
like scrubbing his
We
chest.
all wanted to.
And he was
No.
like, shoot this, and it went viral again.
And
But it
Marco
was really
Mengoni
funny.
is a conventionally attractive Italian
He's
singer.
really, really attractive.
Wearing a lot of glitter.
And yeah, but the thing is that they get on really well. I think it's because of this Mediterranean thing
Yeah.
between Spain and Italy, and he was okay with the rubbing thing.
It was consensual somehow.
Yeah, sure.
Carolina.
I don't have any story that I can say.
Oh my God, Carol. You want to go?
Well, I remember 2019 that they, because I won in Denmark, and they asked me, the delegation, bless them. I'm doing backing vocals this year. But Leonora won, and she had like a big chair, a big blue chair.
That
and
was the prop.
Yes, that was a prop. And I remember Molly and the head of the team, they were like, Mel, we want you to do backing vocals in Eurovision, and we want you to sit on the chair. And I, with love, looked at them and said, no. So I went and did backing vocals for UK instead.
And she's like, I'll do backing vocals with other people.
So yes, I remember I was jumping from the Danish green room to the UK one, because I wanted to be loyal and be there for my teams. And I will never forget my friends and family texting me like, Mel, what are you doing? Because I was running like this in viewing room.
And they see you on TV running from one place to the other. And maybe with the fire.
Yeah, the fire. Yeah, it was in Tel Aviv, and we rehearsed with UK. And all of a sudden, because Norway had Kano had a lot of fire. And all of a sudden, when we rehearsed, there was fire, and we were just walking past the fire. So thank God nothing happened. But yeah, it's important to.
If stuff goes wrong, you know, it's yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I still have my hair.
yeah. I'm always praying that when countries enter my viewing room, I see a little bit of smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people fall, you know, in Italy, but also in Rotterdam, we have people falling off stage. Yeah,
All
that
the time.
happens. Yeah, that happens because it's a big stage, and everybody's really impressed when you go on stage for the first time. I cannot even begin to imagine how scary that is. And if you're a dancer and it's the first time on a stage like that, because it's nothing. I think Melody Festival, of course, you can compare it, but other countries who have a national final, it's nothing compared to being on
stage.
that idiotic big stage and 50 people running around you, making sure you get on your spot in 30 seconds, and stuff goes wrong.
No.
But luckily not during the live shows somehow. So
People just got used to it.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I can, since Carolina, maybe while she remembers one, I can tell you. I'm not sure if it's still the Red Bull one or the glue one. Which one you want to hear, the Red Bull one or the glue one?
Glue.
The glue. Okay, so we had last year in Vesna, the song was My Sister's Crown. So part of our communication was creating a lot of content with the crown, with jewels that are plastic. So obviously they were very cheap, but they didn't look cheap. They were really nice crowns.
I have two of them.
You got them.
You don't know I have them.
I was looking for it anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, I will
So
bring you
I had those little crowns, and I always had super glue with me because the diamonds, the jewels were falling off of it between interviews. So you glue it, and it's fine. And we are in Liverpool, we're getting ready for the turquoise carpet, and I hear a knock. Honestly, I've never seen people working. Yes, I've never seen people working as hard as Vesna were. 6 girls getting ready for a red carpet. but that was like, and the rooms were in front of each other. So it was a little bit like Tom and Jerry when they were like, vroom, vroom, vroom,
No, but,
and they
but
were
it was,
connected.
it was actually with them. It was like they were supposed to be somewhere every time. They were supposed to be somewhere at some time.
And they were
and
never
it was
there.
like at 8 o'clock, and it was 8 o'clock and 30 minutes later, and they were like still preparing, running everywhere, and still not ready.
Yeah.
And some of them didn't make anything with her hair, and the
but
next
they
one was
run,
naked
and
that time. It
and
was
they
so
were
crazy.
connected. The rooms were connected, so you could see
Yeah.
them entering in one room, but coming out from the other. And I was like, what are they doing? So anyway, I'm just like getting ready, and I hear a knock, and I hear Bara shouting, Ahmad, do you have glue? And I was like, yes, I do. And it's like, I give her the glue, and that's it. And then I go to the limousine that picks us up. That was a fancy Eurovision. We get picked up in a limousine,
UK.
and I just see them staring at me like this, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And they was like, "You give us super glue?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want a glue?" And they put their lashes and this and the diamonds with super glue.
Diamonds and pearls.
Yeah, but nobody told me that they wanted like makeup glue. But they put like their lashes and the little pearls.
They put
and
it with super glue.
Yes, but that was not the.
And it
That
was
was not
it
the-
was like it was
But
the
it's your
day
fault
before
that you're not realizing
certified.
when you stick.
It's supposed to stick.
Yeah, but not that hard.
Like your fingers to stay sticked.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They didn't realize. I don't think. I mean, they were really good. Anyway, so I told her like when they were really upset, I was like, girls, it's gonna be a long night. So,
Super glue in your eyes.
so it's gonna be good. So it's not gonna fall like no pearl is gonna come falling out of it. So that was one thing. And then at the next day, because we were in the first semifinal,
So it was jury show.
yeah, which we rehearsed, and I take them to makeup on the next day. And the lady in Eurovision you've never seen. You see all these pictures in Eurovision on the makeup room. We have something similar with every single how the makeup has to be done perfectly. Dancer of this country, this singer, the shades, blah, blah, blah. And they had Vesna. And then the girls that were doing the makeup, they look like, oh, bless her, you have a little of a rash, don't you? And they were like looking at me.
Here.
And I was like, and the lashes, and they were like, it was a really a messy.
Did everyone put the super glue?
I didn't
Yeah.
want to ask, but I think they did.
Yeah, all of them,
Six
because
of
they
them.
didn't have a glue. They didn't have any glue, and I think they knew that's a super glue, but they were like, we will take it down. We will fix this problem later.
Yeah,
so they were
and
like
then they
putting,
had like all this really nasty rash from all this super glue.
But I think that's the main thing in
Bless
Eurovision. Things get lost in translation. I think that's how a lot of things go
Who
wrong.
got it?
No, but mirrors.
I
The
think
thing is that-
Marco, I think Italy, I don't know, when he lost his button on stage, Italy, when he was like giving the high note and he bends and then it just blew.
His leather
It's
pants
on TV. And I felt so much better because I was a bit conscious of my weight. And then if Marco Mengone's bottom blows up, then I'm fine. And then I think they had to staple it.
Yeah.
The staple the pants. I
Yeah.
don't know who was stapling their outfit because you don't have time and you have to go on stage somehow. But yes, that was one of the funniest things is when I gave Vesna super glue.
So you asked about the role of being a head of media?
Yeah, that's one of the
There you
things.
have it.
There you have super glue in the eyes of your singer. And I remember one. That's what we are at it. It's like I remember in Turin, which was great Eurovision for all of us. I remember that the water was behind the counter in the canteen, while you had to buy everything. Behind stage, you really don't have much free stuff. So I remember
only
that
coffee was for free.
the coffee, and it was really good
We were
coffee.
in Italy, so only coffee
Yeah,
was for free.
Coffee and Red Bull was free. Red Bull were sponsoring somehow the event, and we had this huge Red Bull fridge, and we could drink all the Red Bull that we want. And we had these girls giving away Red Bull, like they had a Red Bull backpack, giving away Red Bull everywhere. And I remember because I was really thirsty. And I didn't want to pay like €2 or €3 for water in the delegation bubble. I was drinking Red Bull. And I had like 6 Red Bulls. And I'm like sitting, and my hand was doing this. And then Casper from We Are Dummy, he's like, Ahmad, are you all right? And I was like, yes, I'm fine. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. I think I'm a little anxious.
Yeah, the funny fact is that you were only there for 2 weeks. We had 5 weeks of drinking Red Bull instead of water.
Yeah, and they were like,
yeah.
I didn't sleep that night. And they were like, you really need to be checked by a doctor. I think that was one of the few times I saw Christoph really concerned about me. My head of delegation was like, are you okay, buddy? And I'm like, yes. He's like, stop drinking this. And I was like, it's okay. But yes, it was just this really weird feeling of something was going to go wrong. And it was just a lot of caffeine and taurine. And then I found out the last day of the final that the water was free. They just kept it behind the counter.
That's actually very funny when you compare it with Tel Aviv, where was Coca-Cola for free, and then when was final, there was beer for free. So this is really interesting.
No, I think it just really depends on the country. I'm not sure. I'm not expecting a lot of free alcohol in Sweden.
Talking about something else. No, but honestly, I'm gonna switch the subject.
Okay.
Okay. I know we're here to talk about women of Eurovision, but I know we've talked about not being the equality thing and everything. But I think it's also important to do one thing, and I want to do it before we leave. I've been friends with you for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important because it's not equality in the industry, but it's super important to have men like Ahmad there. And I mean it. Like, honestly, I love you. You see women in this industry, and you make us bloom. And I'm super proud and thankful that you're in this industry. And I can't wait to see you do more because you put your heart in everything. And I'm super proud of you. And today, you've been 10 out of 10.
Thank you. It's part of my job. No, please don't do that. This is to celebrate women.
It's like you always give women their space, and you recognize.
The thing is that for me is a bit difficult because I've always won and I have thought the same, especially when I moved to Spain and living in a different spectrum where people see races, and I grew up in a completely different thing. And for me, when somebody told me about the pay gap between men and women, I was like, is that a thing? Like, why wouldn't you pay a woman the same thing? And then I realized in the really bad way that that's a thing. But, you know, it's not about women or men. I like to help everybody. When you started in the Spanish delegation, I told you anything that you need, and we've had longest chats and longest calls. And it's been a pleasure. Not only, it's just because you are one of the other colleagues and you need to be, welcomed, respected, and celebrated, all of you. And when I had the opportunity of doing this, I felt that it was right, and why not? So also a round of applause for all these great women that make Eurovision happen. And just to close up, I really wanted to do this.
Before you close up, I want to just add something more about Ahmad.
Okay. Oh, Jesus
because
Christ. This sounds like I forced them to do this now.
Because he's part of my delegation for a few years already, and it's really, there is one very interesting thing that every year that we are still one group of the same people in delegation, but the artist is different every year. And every year it's like, okay, so because he's not in Czech, so we are the group there, and he's coming sometimes, but he's mostly meeting with our artists at the pre-parties and then at the Eurovision, and it's always okay. So there is one guy, Ahmad, and you will meet him. Okay, he's a little bit crazy. He's a little bit like too much for everything, but I'm sure you will love him. And it's every time, every year with every artist. Every time when the artist meets Ahmad, after one day, he's like, oh my God, I love him. That's because he's the best part of our delegation. He's the most important part of our delegation.
Don't say that, but thank you. Thank you. Yay. Now, to close up, I want to do this because if you got it, you flaunted. I have one of the greatest friends, and it's a great singer, and I want you to sing a little bit for us. I just want to show, because I think to all of these people how
I'm singing tomorrow at the pre-party thing.
Yeah, so you can come. She's going to be performing
where?
Where
am I performing?
In La Terraza tomorrow in Pueblo Español. But I mean, I really think we should try something.
Okay, what should
like
we sing?
Maybe Sand or one of your songs or yeah.
Honestly, this is like the most awkward thing.
Yeah. I know, that's why I do it.
Like, I'm so happy not to be you right now.
Okay, Sand. Well, Sand. Okay.
Can we help by clapping or something?
If you can sing with me. If
No,
you want.
absolutely not.
Let's see. It's shouldn't be so hard like breathing underwater. Baby, we've been in the blue. Didn't see it coming, falling into nothing. Ain't there something we can do?
Thank you so much. Sorry I put you on the spot.
Saba will sing on Saturday.
I need more. I need more.
Yeah.
We will go there
tomorrow
tomorrow.
night.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
then.
But please remember something very important, that the Czech Republic is competing in the second semifinal, and you can vote number 5 up to 20
Denmark.
votes. Yeah, Denmark.
shout
Denmark
Netherlands
too.
now?
No, but I'm actually very proud to be able. Actually, I think you're voting in the first semi. No, you're voting in the second semi. You're competing in the second semi. We're competing in the second semi. So
And you're voting for us.
and the Netherlands is in the second semifinal.
gonna beat
So
all
we're
your
the
asses.
second semifinal people. Don't vote for the Netherlands. They already
Vote
are
for
very
Czech
popular.
Republic.
They're really popular anyway. So just number 5 and number 7, but more number 5 than number 7.
This is
Yeah.
promotional talk you're
Thank
doing
you
right
for
now.
what you're doing.
I'm trying. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. For the people online, I hope you like this 2 sessions, and so you. And at the end, everything went a little bit off the wagon, being just friends talking about their job, and I think that could be also really fun and interesting for you. Really, for all of those who want to come on Saturday, we have a couple of tickets there that we're going to draw for students. And remember, continue. EU is here for everybody, just showing a really different way of learning about business, and that's the important thing. Because the books are there, but the experience is here. And we want all for you to learn also from young professionals that there's a way of doing it in different industries and the different ways of learning and applying all the knowledge that you have, no matter where you're from, no matter what background you have and where you want to go. I think this is the important thing, and that's why we're here to teach you that. And as well, Eurovision is there to connect countries somehow, to celebrate music, to celebrate the artists. And please remember that. Be kind online for everybody. And we'll see you on Saturday for those who are going to be there, or tomorrow on Melanie's gig, or anything. We are 1 DM away at EU Business School. Thank you very much.